So again, the craziness at Wollongong University just keeps on getting more and more crazy. The university still refuses to rescind her PhD, and to be honest, again, based on what she's put in her PhD thesis, it continues to be absolutely insane. Now, yes, this week, should I say, this came out on the 27th, we've had basically some really powerful damnations of the PhD thesis. At least at the moment in time, you can look up this, and the PhD thesis has been ripped to shreds by many people. However, now you've got prominent immunologists coming forward and saying, "Hey, this paper's wrong. It needs to be rescinded." Because according to this, you've got 11 medical research and clinical societies signed statement on behalf of 5,000 scientists and clinicians in the field of microbiology, virology, and immunology and infectious diseases. And basically the statement is misinformation about vaccines may lead people to decide against vaccination, which could lead to an increases of illness and deaths and outbreaks of preventable diseases and diseases. We strongly support the academic staff of Wollongong University in their endeavours to maintain the highest levels of intellectual rigour and integrity, which is basically what was not put on display when they approved this thesis. It basically was just not. Again, another quote from a guy from the Australian Society of Microbiology. The universities responsible for tackling these kinds of scientific questions should ensure that all expertise required is to bring the right level of academic rigour to bear is available. If someone is addressing a question in a particular field, the university should be confident it can provide the academic support to address that question properly. If a university hands a PhD to someone whose thesis is demonstrably incorrect, then it's embarrassing, but if that PhD could have an impact on public health, then it is something else entirely. He goes on to say that the defence that he was protecting academic freedom is not investigating the PhD is wrong-handed. It's not about academic freedom, it's an academic issue. If the thesis comes from poor scholarship, then it should be something the university must deal with. And this is what it's been about from the very beginning. You've had a lot of people like the anti-vaxxers saying how important this is, and people like me and other people criticising the thesis are trying to tear her down and destroy her academic freedom. No one is saying that. What we are saying is that there's been such poor standards carried out on this PhD thesis that how the hell she was actually awarded it in the first place is absolutely insane. And to reiterate my point, it's like getting a 0 on a test and somehow still winning. That is essentially what's going on here. And as this goes on, and I'm going to keep on keeping tabs on this, because this is absolutely insane. The university is being put under pressure, which is good. If I were a student, I'd be making sure that there'd be protests, because this affects you as a student at Wollongong University, and don't think it doesn't. Because if someone can come out with literally conspiracy theories, because currently this is another one, and we're going to get into this shortly. If you can propagate conspiracy theories against the World Health Organization, drug companies and the World Bank, and the thesis claims that diseases for which vaccines are recommended have not been demonstrated to be a serious risk to the majority of children. Again, that's what she is claiming in her PhD thesis. She is using conspiracy theories. And again, she's saying that vaccines are a serious risk to children, which they are not. All these conspiracy theories, again, there are other people that have covered this on the internet saying this is ridiculous. She is drawing false conclusions. Again, there's one person who just looked at her opening statement and said, this is not how you write an opening to your academic thesis. Again, it's been said before, but her thesis is no more than a 360-page rant against vaccines. This is not what a strict academic standard would have never allowed this to pass. If she had to do a PhD defense of her thesis, this would have not passed. Remember, in Australia, you do not have to do a defense of your PhD thesis. And not only that, it was come out again a couple of days ago that when she did her master's thesis, she was accused of academic wrongdoing. Now, she got cleared of these charges, and we don't know what went on in this. We don't know what she got accused of, and there's been a Freedom of Information Act to request more information about this. So again, we could have more information about the University of Wollongong and Miss Woodman, not only on her PhD thesis, but about her master's thesis. Now, again, this just does not seem to stop. And again, I have to ask, what's going on at this university to allow this person not only to get a PhD thesis in what she's written, but her master's thesis was also commenting about anti-vax stuff. I'm lost for words. I really am. Because that is literally just you can make up your own, bullshit and get a PhD for it. It is just astounding. And again, I am absolutely flabbergasted that, I've seen some people who have commented and just think, whatever. No, it's important because this ends up spreading misinformation. And as I was already said, by one guy, this will end up, in people thinking that they don't have to vaccinate their children. That, they don't have to get vaccinated themselves. And they'll put themselves, their children, and others at risk. That's what we're up against.